Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, everyone, for taking some time out of your busy day to join us for our topic of discussion on today's webinar series. And very excited to be joined by Nationwide and the Nationwide Retirement Institute to discuss some of the costs of healthcare in retirement and just some of the ways that clients, Americans today, are faced with some decisions to make on their financial planning and how the cost of healthcare really will impact those decisions, and how we can help clients in just sort of navigating this question of how to cover the cost of healthcare in retirement. Okay, so want to jump right in and first of all introduce myself. If you haven't spoke to me in the past, Josh Horton. I'm the Assistant Vice President of our Life, Annuity, and Long-Term Care Department here at Pinnacle Financial Services. And there's my contact information, extension, 800 number, email address. And our website is pfsinsurance.com. Really more of an agent-facing site. So for the insurance producers out there on the call, that's a site that is devoted to you. And you can find a lot of different tools there on the website, and we'll kind of get into a little bit of what we offer to our partner agents, advisors out there in the field. And then want to really quickly pass the baton to our Nationwide folks that have joined us today, and just really, really thankful to have them as a part of our team, a great relationship with Nationwide and their Retirement Institute. So I have Chris Bailey with me. He's the Vice President of Annuity sales over at Nationwide, and Chris is going to talk a little bit about their Peak 10 indexed annuity and just some of the features with that and some of the ways that can be a great solution for many clients. And then we'll hear from Steve Calandra. He's the Vice President over on the Nationwide Retirement Institute end, and Steve will be handling the discussion around the cost of healthcare in retirement and some of those glaring statistics and some ways that we have found some solutions. And then finally, just to wrap up there. So again, thanks everybody for your time. We know that if you're an advisor out there, your time is valuable, and we appreciate you taking some time to do some training with us here today. If you're working with us already, you know who we are and some of the tools that we provide and resources we provide to agents. If you're new to Pinnacle Financial Services and maybe not aware of who we are, we're just a national brokerage firm, independent brokerage, and we focus in the sort of the senior market, helping clients with retirement, long-term care, Medicare, senior health care, as well as life insurance and annuities are the products that our advisors broker through us. But really, I see us as a partner with our agents. I'm an advisor myself, been in the business about a dozen years, focused on the life insurance and annuities and ways to help clients with those products. But we have the different experts, aside from myself, that focus on all the different areas of the business that we deal in. We want to make sure that you're recommending the absolute best solution for your clients, regardless of what product it is, if it's a Nationwide annuity or one of the other many insurance carriers that we're partnered with, if it's a long-term care solution or a life insurance solution that will benefit that prospect or that client, then that's what we'll recommend. And we'll be the first to tell you if this or that is not in your client's best interest. So that's really some of the ways that we can help you as an advisor out there, picking the right product, the right solution for your client. If you need help finding new clients, we certainly do that as well. There's a lot of different ways to find folks that we can help with the products and solutions that we can offer. So if you need assistance with marketing, generating leads, anything along those lines, we do a ton of different stuff to do just that, and have done plenty of trainings on all the different tools we provide and have those recorded in our archives. So if you're new to us at Pinnacle, like any information on anything that we provide and how we can help you to grow your business or just make your life easier, please feel free to get in touch with us, and you have my contact information there. Top level commissions is, I just always mention that as an advisor starting out right out of school and sort of being young in the business. I learned the hard way that there are many agencies out there or commission arrangements where you may not be receiving the top level commission that's sort of baked into the deal there. So that's my spiel on us here at Pinnacle Financial. Love to hear from you if you have not worked with us or interested in working with us, and we can go through how to get contracted with the carriers if you're interested in Nationwide or the Peak 10 annuity. We would love to hear from you. So I'll give my contact information again at the end, but really want to pass things over to my guys at Nationwide, and without further ado, Chris, I'll hand things over and give the controls to Steve.
Perfect. Thank you, Josh. I do appreciate and want to thank you for including Nationwide on today's webinar. I just want to spend just a couple minutes. First of all, thanking everybody out there today for attending, and then also just kind of going over at a high level, 10,000 foot view on a brand new fixed index annuity that we just launched early January of this year for the exclusive distribution of Pinnacle Financial Services. So this brand new fixed index annuity called Nationwide Peak 10. Pinnacle is one of the few groups across the United States that has access to this product. And just a quick high level overview of the product and what you and your clients can expect to get with Peak 10. This is a 10-year fixed index annuity created by an A+ rated mutual insurance company in Nationwide that has been around for nearly 100 years. And the big thing there is the fact that we're a full mutual. So everything that we do, we are answering to our shareholders, right? We're not answering to shareholders. We're making decisions based on what is best for our members or our policy holders. As far as Peak 10 goes, I mentioned this is a 10-year fixed index annuity. When we look at kind of the accumulation side of things, there's 4 indexed options inside of Peak 10. 2 of them are exclusive to this product, one from AllianceBernstein and one from JP Morgan. The beauty of Peak 10 is this is an uncapped product. So you're not limiting clients' upside with a cap on the return they'd get from those indexes. So these are uncapped strategies. So once again, you're not limiting upside. But when we look at what we offer in this product around guaranteed income, there's actually 2 options available inside of this product when we look at guaranteed income. One is called the Guaranteed Income Solution. This is built into the contract at no cost. And what clients get from this is a guaranteed 4% roll-up or step-up on their income benefit base for 10 years at no cost. And then we have a 4-cost rider called the Bonus Income Plus rider. What clients will get here for a rider charge is a 10% bonus in year 1 on their income benefit base. So if a client puts in $100,000, their income base immediately becomes 110, and then they're going to get a guaranteed 7% roll up for 10 years. Both riders, both options are very unique and competitive in the industry. The rider specifically, Bonus Income Plus, offers both single and joint, and offers the ability for clients to turn on income immediately. So, this product is getting a lot of attention in the industry, and Pinnacle Financial Services is certainly a big proponent of this product and is doing quite a bit with Nationwide. So just want to thank you, Josh, again for having us. But really the star of the show today is Steve Calandra. He is part of our Nationwide Retirement Institute. This group internally at Nationwide has been around for about 10 years. I mentioned the fact that Nationwide is a mutual insurance company. So I think this speaks to that, because this whole organization at Nationwide and the Retirement Institute was created to go out and provide and present and conduct seminars on thought leadership, value add topics in the industry. And healthcare costs and retirement is a big one. So with that, I am going to pass it over to Steve to go through today on what we offer as far as healthcare costs and retirement. And Steve, go ahead and take it away.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Josh, for the invitation to come out to talk about this important information. I thought the best way to start today's session would be with the story of a guy named Tim Bowers, because what he did several years back in Columbus, Ohio, changed the landscape for the conversation that retirees were having with their financial professionals. So check this out. This guy walks into one of the local banks in Columbus, Ohio, robs it for $80, immediately surrenders himself to the security guard. And when he goes to court, he begs the judge to please send him to jail for 3 years. How old is he, you're wondering, when he pulls this stunt? He's 62 and a half. And if we think this through, what is he going to have in 3 short years that he doesn't have between the ages of 62 and 63? Full retirement age for Social Security is 66, right? And Medicare kicks in at age 65. This guy had screwed up his retirement plan so badly that he was willing to trade his freedom for 3 hots and a cot to bridge the gap between where he was to where he would be 3 years later, where he'd actually have some state help and he can live the rest of his life. The reason why I like to open up the story of Mr. Bowers is it speaks directly to today's topic, which is preparing for the cost of health care in retirement. Now, by way of introduction, my name is Steve Calandra, and I represent a division of Nationwide that's called the Nationwide Retirement Institute. We are tasked with breaking down and simplifying some of the macro issues that retirees face, and we do this by bringing you education and insights, actionable tools that you can use in your practice, and your clients or your prospects can use these complimentary reports to make sure that they are on pace to land into a secure retirement. And lastly, we offer ongoing consultative support as an institution. So after today's webinar, we're hoping between you, your Pinnacle representative, and Nationwide, that this can be the beginning of our conversations together that are serving your clients and not necessarily the end of our time together when we part ways. Now, please be reminded that none of this information is to be taken as investment, tax, or legal advice. This presentation is for educational purposes only. Please make a note of any questions that you might have, and if they lean toward an investment, tax, or legal advice, seek the appropriate professional before moving forward. Now, what we're going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be threefold. Number one, we're going to talk about the retirement income challenge, or as I like to say, why is this such an important topic? Number two, we're going to go through and we're going to help you understand the health care for retirees in America, which is called Medicare. And then lastly, we're going to get to the final and third agenda point, where we're going to show you how we can help you create a plan to address the cost of health care for your clientele and the people that trust you as advisors. And ladies and gentlemen, the benefit to being in today's presentation or today's webinar is simply this. Can we all agree that many people in the public find this topic of Medicare confusing? If I do my job correctly, I'm going to help you position the conversation around the basics, because once you can get your clientele to understand the basics, we can then show you how to get your advanced questions answered, and we can evolve the conversation. So let's get started with the retirement income challenge, or as I like to say, why this is such an important topic. Many people that will hear a presentation from the Nationwide Retirement Institute are surprised to learn that on average, each and every day, there are 10,000 baby boomers achieving the age of Medicare, 65. Now, this started in 2011, and according to Social Security, this is expected to continue straight through 2034. But whittling down to what's most important to the public is healthcare ranks as one of your largest expenses in retirement. As a matter of fact, according to Nationwide Retirement Institute studies from 2020, one's top 3 expenses in retirement are as follows. Statistically speaking, keeping a roof over your head is always your number 1 expense right now. Jockeying for number 1 or number 2 happens to be your health care and making sure that you have health insurance every day of your life. And number 3 is near and dear to my belly. It's having food every day in retirement. Now, if you're paying attention here, that means that healthcare ranks as your second largest expense in retirement. So that brought the Nationwide Retirement Institute to a hypothesis. We thought, by golly, there may be a lot of people in the American public that have the wrong information or no information in their financial plans. So in 2012, we set out to do an annual poll. We partnered up with Harris, you might know who they are. And every year since 2012, we have conducted this poll. We asked this question: how much do you think it costs a 65-year-old married couple to be on original Medicare complete with a Medigap policy? If you're taking a look at the slide, you'll see that 1% thought it might cost as much as $26,000 or more. Drawing your attention all the way down to the bottom, not sure and I have no idea how to figure it out, was 44%. Second most popular answer at 40% was $5,000. That means the second most popular answer at 40% when we did our last poll, 40% of everyone we interviewed thought that a 65-year-old married couple on original Medicare, complete with a Medigap policy, was going to max out at $5,000. Now, I'm going to focus on this $5,000 number, and I want you to remember that for me because we're going to come back to that in just a couple of minutes, okay? But ladies and gentlemen, I like numbers because numbers tell stories. Has anyone figured out what story these numbers tell? 84% of everyone that we interviewed were drastically underestimating their cost of healthcare and retirement, or they had no idea what their cost of healthcare was going to be. Anybody remember where in the pecking order of one's expenses healthcare ranks? Number 2. So when we say that there's a retirement income challenge, or this is an important topic, it's because we know in the American population, this is a retiree's second largest expense, and 8 out of 10 people in your book of business, or that you will try to bring on as one of your clients, 8 out of 10 people have the wrong information or no information in their financial plans. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why Pinnacle wanted to partner up with Nationwide to bring this webinar to you is if we were the band together and go out and try to serve the American public, we know that 80% of the time, if you could do a webinar on this topic, if you could do a live seminar on this topic, we know 8 out of 10 people that we will be able to communicate with have an inefficiency in their financial plan that we can help them plug so they can have a more secure retirement. So now that we went over why this is such an important topic, let's go through and help you understand the healthcare system for retirees in America, which is called Medicare. As your clientele starts to achieve the age of 65, assuming that neither spouse is still working, nor are they covered by a previous employer's healthcare plan, your clients are going to have 2 options with respect to going on all the different components of Medicare. Option 1, as you will see, is broken down into different components. Original Medicare is the federally administered health insurance platform in America for retirees over the age of 65. Original Medicare comes with Part A, which covers your hospital insurance, and Part B, which covers your doctor's insurance. But guess what? Not everything is covered. Therefore, it is customary that if one can afford it and they want to, that they go out and they get a secondary insurance policy called a medical supplemental policy or a Medigap policy. And what does a secondary insurance policy do is it plugs the gaps that are not covered by Part A and Part B. Underneath your Part D, you go out and you get your prescription drug coverage. And when you put it together in a nice, neat grouping, it looks like the type of insurance I have while I work for corporate America. Option 1 is to go with the federally administered health insurance platform called Original Medicare. Option 2 is your clients might want to go to the private market. They might want to test out private for-profit health insurance companies that are approved by the Medicare system, so they fall underneath what's called Medicare Part C, or we like to affectionately call them Advantage plans, right? Now, underneath an Advantage plan, you can get your hospitalization and your doctor's coverage. You can also go out and get your prescription drug coverage. But the difference between option 1 and option 2 is option 2 is in the for-profit sector, so they have different ways that they manipulate the contracts to stay within the limits of Medicare, but they create a situation where it becomes buyer beware. For folks that want to look at Advantage plans, they're going to market themselves to the public that they offer superior insurances and are more economically viable than original Medicare, meaning it's less expensive. And in some cases, they might very well be. But unfortunately, there's a study that came out of Fidelity that suggests by the time a married couple is 5 years retired, 73.27% are already on original Medicare, whether they started there or not. So knowing that this is going to hit the greatest number of people that you're going to come across, for the remainder of the presentation, we're going to focus on original Medicare only. See, original Medicare is broken down into different components. As we know, Part A covers your hospital insurance. This is when someone goes into the hospital, is officially admitted for a minimum of a 3-night stay in the hospital. It also covers your path to recovery after a qualifying hospital stay, as long as you are showing signs of improvement, getting better every day, and are on the path to progress. Now, from a financial planning perspective, while a spouse is working, they are prepaying their Part A hospital insurance for them and their counter spouse through their FICA taxes, because a portion of the FICA taxes prepays your Part A hospital insurance. So the vast majority of your clientele in retirement are not going to have a monthly or an annual premium for their Part A hospital insurance. That's for about 99.9% of the people that you will be calling on. Now, what you want to understand about Part A from a financial planning perspective is it comes with a risk on the back end to someone's financial situation. Part A comes with high deductibles and high daily copays. So if you happen to have a client that goes into the hospital underneath their Part A, they're going to lose their high deductible up front. And then if they have to stay in the hospital too many days consecutively past 60 days, there's going to be a daily copay that might kick in. And that could be catastrophic to one's retirement situation if they do not have a proper Medicare plan. Part A is your hospital insurance. Part B is your doctor's insurance. This is for all the medical attention one needs when they don't need to be officially admitted into a hospital for a minimum of a 3-night stay. Part B also covers outpatient services. So if one gets diagnosed with cancer and they have to go to an infusion center 3 to 5 times a week, that falls underneath your Part B. Go to the emergency room, that's Part B. Okay? Part B comes with a monthly premium per spouse that you need to be aware of. And in the best case scenario, that's going to be about $148.50 per spouse per month. Now, this is means tested. So if any of your clients have higher income in retirement, there could potentially be a surcharge tacked on top of this $148.50. Now, on the back end, Medicare Part B only covers 80% of the doctor's cost. That means if your clients don't have a proper Medicare plan, they could potentially be on the hook for a 20% coinsurance. And if you think about it, if one gets diagnosed with cancer, they don't have a proper Medicare plan, then all of a sudden they have to go through chemotherapy. If they're on the hook for a 20% coinsurance, can you imagine how catastrophic that could potentially be to one's financial situation? Like, I don't know what chemotherapy costs, but let's imagine it costs $50,000 a month for someone going through an aggressive form. If they have to go to that chemotherapy for upwards of a year, and someone's on the hook for 20% of $50,000 a month or $10,000 a month, you see how that could equal upwards of $120,000 that gets siphoned off of someone's retirement nest egg that they're living off of because it's helping them generate their income. Part B is your doctor's insurance. Part D is your prescription drug coverage. Averages out right around $50 a month across the whole United States per spouse. What you want to understand about Medicare Part D is they only cover 75% of the prescription drug cost. That means your clientele is going to be on the hook for a 25% coinsurance. And there's no way you can protect your clients from this or help them. It is what it is. And this is where the greatest number of people in America have sticker shock. That brings us to one of the most important aspects of today's presentation, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't remember anything else we talk about, hopefully you can remember the voiceover of this. A Medigap policy plugs the gaps that are not covered by Part A and Part B. If you want your clients to have a proper Medicare plan and they can afford it, if they go with original Medicare, you want to make sure that your clientele has a Medigap policy, because what a Medigap policy does is it mitigates the risk on the back end when someone's using Part A and Part B for the insurance. It can mitigate the risk of the high deductibles and daily copays of Part A and the 20% coinsurance of Part B. So for a predictable $200, $225 a month payment per spouse per month, you could offset that catastrophic risk to someone's financial situation. Now, please note that that's only Part A and Part B. It does not include prescription drug coverage because there's no way to protect someone from that 25% coinsurance. Now, that means, ladies and gentlemen, for a married couple in retirement, 65 years old, to be on original Medicare complete with a Medigap policy, it will cost them a minimum, best case scenario, of $9,802.08. Anybody remember the second most popular number on the survey slide I asked you to remember? 40% of everyone that we polled thought that a 65-year-old married couple on original Medicare complete with a Medigap policy was going to be $5,000. So for the mathematicians watching today's webinar, if we compare $5,000 to $9,800, what percentage mistake were they making in their second largest expense in retirement? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I may not be a smart man, but 5,000 to almost 10,000 is darn near a doubling. That's almost 100% mistake that they were making. And of course, for anyone that had no information in their financial plans and they had no idea and they didn't know how to figure it out, can you only imagine the difficult conversations they are going to have in retirement if they don't figure out a way to afford their second largest expense as they get ready to stop trading their time for money? And oh, by the way, we haven't even talked about using the insurance yet, have we? This is just to be card-carrying members and paying the premiums. So this $9,802.08 per spouse, that's not an average number. That's a best case scenario number, and it only comes up from here, ladies and gentlemen. So now that we went through the retirement income challenge, or why this is such an important topic, and now we have an understanding of the health insurance arena for retirees in America that's called Medicare, let's go into our third and final agenda point on how we can partner with you to help you create a plan to address the cost of healthcare for the people that trust you as a trusted advisor. Nationwide has gone out and we have forged several strategic alliances to help us create a personalized healthcare cost assessment. One of our most vital strategic partners is an actuarial firm called Milliman and Associates, which operates in the health insurance arena. They have provided a software package available only through the Nationwide Retirement Institute, where you can provide a one-page client questionnaire called the Personalized Healthcare Cost Assessment Fact Finder to your target audience, whether it be a prospect that you'd like to help do planning for, or if it happens to be an existing client that you would like to make sure that you are continuing to do your best interest planning with them, or if it happens to be a center of influence like an accountant or an attorney that you're trying to mesh your DNA of your business with theirs so you can get into a symbiotic, mutually beneficial referral agreement with them. You could use this complimentary report to better serve the people you work with and get the greatest number of people moving into your sales funnel so you can bring them down, convert them to clients, and help them have a secure retirement. A couple things you want to understand about this report. Number one, we can customize the report by putting your IMO, or your BGA, we can put Pinnacle's information here. We could also put, if you have a business name that you would like to brand, we can put that there. We could also put who this was run by, meaning if you are the financial professional or the agent of record, we can put your name here. And then we can customize it with your client or your prospect's information as well. So when you sit down with them, all the information is harmonizing with the person that you're trying to serve. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw your attention to page 3. On page 3, we're going to review all of the answers that were given on the fact finder that generated this report. What we recommend you do with your clientele is sit down with them and walk them through and just review and make sure that line by line, all the information is correct. Ultimately, we're going to bring your attention to page 4 out of 9. For the families you serve that like to do buckets of money strategies, meaning they like to think in terms of certain buckets of money that are earmarked for certain expenses that you spend income off of or draw down on while other buckets of money are growing, you could very well go to page 4 and we're going to show you an average for each person you run this for or each couple. We're going to do 5-year averages so you can see what each 5-year bucket is going to cost this family in their cost of healthcare and retirement. Now, depending on who you might be working with, you might want to work with the lower numbers represented here to make sure that you can cover the average cost of healthcare, allowing you to invest subsequent dollars that can grow to be harvested for later. Or for certain clients, you may look at the higher average numbers, knowing that if you cover the highest average number and you have enough guaranteed income to cover this higher number, then they'll be covered for the rest of their life. It depends on how you would like to proceed. On page 5 out of 9, we're going to show you the breakdown of the numbers behind those 5-year averages. We're going to show you in what year and at what age your client suggested they would like to exit the workforce and go on full-blown Medicare. Moving from left to right, we're going to put in the Part B premiums, Part D and supplemental premiums, and additional out-of-pocket costs. We're going to adjust them for inflation, and we're going to put it in the report. We can run this for a single individual or someone who's married filing jointly. Now, drawing your attention all the way over to the right-hand side, we're going to give you a household total right here. This household total, ladies and gentlemen, is accurate within 80 to 85%. This is not a best case scenario number like we saw on the survey slide. This is not an average number like most financial planning softwares have. This is a number that is based on your client's actuarial health profile, and it is the most accurate number that you can get in the financial planning arena. So as we look at a best interest environment, the thing you want to ask yourself is, as someone gets ready to retire, is it still prudent to use the law of averages? Or do I have to get my client out of the outer ring of averages and get them closer and closer to the inner circles of their bullseye number? And I think it's quite obvious that when you're operating underneath a best interest environment, you always want to get someone as close to the bullseye as possible. And this process and this report can help you do it. We also offer another column that you'll notice all the way to the right, highlighted in green, which is the total without Part B premiums. And here's why we do this. If you have a prospect or a client that signs up for Social Security before they're eligible for Medicare, when they sign up for Medicare, their Part B premiums are going to be deducted right from their Social Security check. What do you need to know as an agent or a financial professional? What's the income need? How much income do you need to spin off from someone's investments into their checking account to cover their cost of health care? Now, if they're already paying their Part B premiums out of their Social Security check, you don't need to get them the household total. You needed to get them the net without their Part B. So we put that into the report for you. Now, of course, once you figure out what their Part B premiums are going to cost them or what their health care is going to cost them, if there's an income need here, we hope that you're going to call Nationwide and your other annuity carriers. We hope you're going to filter everything through Pinnacle and see if you can find a guaranteed income stream to cover this guaranteed essential expense. It's a prudent recommendation for someone. Or if you're doing buckets of money strategy, maybe you're drawing down on an account and you need some sort of FIA where you don't want the client to lose, but you want them to be able to gain on the upside. And then all of a sudden, you're now doing some really good work and some good financial planning. Now, the way you get this, ladies and gentlemen, is through a one-page client questionnaire that is called the Healthcare Long-Term Care Cost Assessment Fact Finder. What you want to understand about filling out this is simple. Up at the very top, you're going to see we give you an email and a fax number that this form can be returned to. Yes, you can populate your information right up here on Report Requested By, save it, email it to your client or your prospect, ask them to fill out the rest of it, and then when they email it back to you, all you have to do is email it to the email in the top right-hand corner. 3 to 5 days later, we will return back the customized report that I just walked you through. Now, let's say you want to follow up and you have a question about the report. We're going to give you a number to our Institute planning team here at 877-245-0763. So you're always reminded that you can call them. They can do conference calls with your clients to discuss the report. We'll never try to sell them a product. We will never put any pressure on them in any way whatsoever. We'll only discuss the topic of Medicare from a financial planning perspective. Next thing that we're going to do is you're going to want to make sure that in this top section, the report requested by has your information. You're going to check the IMO box here, and underneath IMO, you're going to put Pinnacle. Then for first name and last name requesting the report, it's going to be you, the agent, or the financial professional. We're also going to need your email and your phone number because you're the one requesting the report. Very important. If you put a client's information here underneath the report requested by, we are going to shred the document and we're not going to return it to anyone. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to have your target audience fill out their first name, last name, gender, current age, and what age they want to go on full-blown Medicare, meaning they're planning on retiring. You can put up to 4 different locations. So if someone is thinking of moving somewhere else in the country and they want to see a comparison, we can return multiple reports. We can get as granular as the county or the state, even a metro city if someone wants to live closer to a metro city. We're going to ask them a series of actuarial data points. Have they ever been diagnosed with any of these ailments? There is zero HIPAA risk here, ladies and gentlemen, and this information will never end up on anyone's medical report. This is simply a data point collection to run the software for your clients. We're going to ask how much income they're going to be making in retirement as a household. If someone happens to be married filing jointly, you're playing on the left side. If you have individuals, you're playing on the right side. Ultimately, we're going to ask you, what do you want to see from Medicare in the report? Everything in the kitchen sink is the top box. It's highly recommended. Now, if you have someone who wants to back out certain components, you can check one of the lower boxes. Ultimately, if you have any questions and follow up to today's webinar, please make sure that you follow up with your Pinnacle representatives. If you have any questions regarding this information, you can always dial 877-245-0763. That goes to my ongoing consultative support group, which is called the Institute Planning Team. Now, our goal in doing this presentation today, ladies and gentlemen, was threefold. Number one, we wanted to walk you through the retirement income challenge and why this is such an important topic. We wanted to walk you through understanding the healthcare platform for retirees in America that's called Medicare. And if you think about it, the basics are fairly simple. But ultimately, we wanted to show you a customized, personalized healthcare cost assessment. The only one that's available of its type in the financial planning arena, where we can help uncover the income need within 80 to 85%. If this presentation has spoken to you, I'd like you to be reminded of how we opened up today with the story of Mr. Bowers, a guy that was willing to give up his freedom for 3 hots and a cot to bridge the gap of what might have been the toughest time in his life. Now, I think we can all agree that that's a very, very bad plan B. But if you want to know if that was a true story, do a Google search for Tim Bowers, B-O-W-E-R-S. Put in the 2 words bank robber after his name, and you can read all the articles that were written about him when he came out of jail 3 years later, because it was a true story. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an honor to present this material to you. My only closing is this. If this has been helpful, please consider using this cost of healthcare in retirement presentation to get the greatest number of people in your sales funnel. Use it to better serve your clientele. Partner with your Pinnacle representatives, and remember that Nationwide is on your side. And if there's anything we can do to help you better serve your clientele, we are here to make sure that the greatest number of people can land into a secure retirement. With that said, that is it for my prepared comments today. I'd like to turn it back over to our gracious host for some closing comments. Stay healthy and stay great, ladies and gentlemen.
Great stuff, Steve. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all your insight, and you know what? It's funny. I did Google Mr. Bowers and found his a nice New York Times article that details the whole story. So if you're interested in that, there's a good New York Times article. But no, thanks again, and Chris as well for the intro and talking about the Peak 10. If anybody on the call here today, if you're interested in some more information on any of these topics on this discussion, if you think that this would be good for any of your clients, please reach out to us. You can see there's our 800 number here at Pinnacle Financial Services, 800-772-6881. And again, my name is Josh Horton, kind of in charge of all things life, annuities, and long-term care here at Pinnacle. So you can reach me at extension 7707. There's my email address as well. And check us out on the web at pfsinsurance.com. And we'd love to hear from you real soon. Thanks again, Chris, Steve, for your time, and everybody else out there. We look forward to speaking with you real soon. Take care and be well.